Bungoma DP, Madam Alice Mabele Okubasu. Welcome to the show, gentlemen and madam.
Thank you.
Yes. Without much ado, back to school.
Yes.
This year's challenges are different from last year's. We're seeing a whole new thing. Last year we were having issues with Form 1s and all the politics that go with it. Today, your challenges in high school are totally different. Even the issues to do with infrastructure in high schools, they're not there. You have a whole different set of challenges. Just introduce us to the show by going into that. But before we do that, I want us to start with a proverb. The proverb of today is that men go through the forest. Some men go through the forest and they will see no firewood. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir. Good morning, viewers. I'm glad to be here again and just to share a bit of thoughts and information in regard to back to school. Indeed, it is true that men go through the forest and some of them don't see the fire, probably because they don't focus on the fire, they focus on the very end. And so they're able to go through the fire but not really get affected because of their focus.
It's firewood.
Firewood.
Yes.
Okay, not the fire.
You see, the firewood comes from trees.
All right.
That are dead.
Yes. I would say this, that it really depends on your keenness to see the firewood.
Yes.
If you're not keen, you
don't see.
will walk through and not be able to see it.
Okay.
So I think the proverb encourages us to be keen when we're going through the forest.
What's in the forest? When we go into the forest, what are we trying to do? Are we finding forests or we're finding trees?
Find many reasons for going to the forest. You could be going out to hunt.
Yes.
But basically for our African setup, we go to look for firewood in the forest.
Okay.
Yes.
Madam, how are you?
I'm fine.
How is Bungoma DP?
Bungoma DP is good.
Okay.
And we are ready to go.
Okay.
The new year 2025.
Okay. When men go through forests, some don't see firewood. What do you understand of that part of the problem?
When we go to the forest,
Yes.
some never see the firewood.
Yes.
A man can go to the forest with an objective. If you have the objective of looking for firewood, you'll throw your eyes around, looking at on the top of the trees, under the trees, maybe some dry ones would have fallen, and you collect.
Okay.
Yes. But if you did not go with that objective,
yes,
maybe you are looking for fruits, you still collect wild fruits.
So whatever you go to look for in a forest,
yes,
you get?
You get.
Okay. We are talking matters education and back to school. It means someone go to school and really not get, as in people get different things from a school, right?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Let's try and see the issue of infrastructure. Most high schools are not affected at the moment. They don't have anything they are scrapping. In fact, you have more space than you have students.
Yeah. It is true that as we speak now, many high schools have lots of space because we are not expecting the Form 1s this year, as it were, because the 8th of system is being phased out. And so I want to say this, that the main challenge we are likely to face is not the question of infrastructure, is what do we do with the infrastructure?
Okay.
Like for my case, we had about 11 classrooms that are now going to be empty. We are going to have
11?
Yes, 11 empty classrooms. So we must now think of what else to do with the classrooms, probably to consider converting them into maybe workshops or facilities for smaller groups, those subjects that don't require lots of space. We like to do that. So we have lots of space in high school. Even some of the dormitories are going to be empty, which of course is we are going to decongest, and I think that's what we're doing, decongest the dormitories. We'll have adequate space now in the dining hall because initially those
guys had to eat in shifts.
Yeah, we were eating in shifts and not allowing space for students to sit while eating. But right now, I think there's going to be some little space for us.
Madam, how is lack of sufficient classrooms affecting comprehensive schools? In the case of Bungoma DB, you are quite a popular school, and they've just added another headache to your school, that is the 9th class, right? So how is that affecting the school?
Well, Bungoma DB, so to say, is really a popular school. We are running to 6,000, so to say.
6,000?
Yes.
Whoa! That is 3 Kakamega schools.
Yeah, almost 3 now. Yeah, that's 3.
So,
True.
all the way from grade 1 to grade 9.
Wow.
We want to say this, that our classrooms are very popular, but we want to say a great thank you to the government of Kenya, the President, Dr. Ruto, the Speaker, Honorable Speaker, the area MP, for coming in strongly to put up classrooms for us.
Okay.
But as much as they have done that, our classrooms are 1 teacher to 70-90 learners. So the infrastructure is still wanting, but somehow we have tried to decongest our classes. Our grade 9 has 9 classrooms, but schools around, most of them do not have. So again, so many of the learners have moved to Bungoma DB so that they can be accommodated in grade 9. Back to grade 1 to 6, most of our learners are around 90, 80, like that. In fact, our smallest classes maybe are in grade 1, who are about 70. What am I saying? That as a teacher, when you have 70 learners of about 6 to 7 years, or 10, 12, 13, it's a tall order. 1, interaction with those learners will not be easy.
Yes.
You know, for a teacher, it's good when you can move about in class, reach every learner, see what they are doing, save for their age. They are playful by nature. So when there are so many in a class, actually it doesn't impact well.
Okay.
As Bungoma DB, we are trying so much. We've put in place very many other activities, other innovations to make sure that the learners are reached. Concentration of many learners also is not easy. You'll find that because of their age, they would really want to distract each other. So, Bungoma DB, I want to say that we are somehow 70% on infrastructure in terms of the physical facilities for the learners. But on sanitation, we are well below average.
Okay.
Yes.
But then what does that do to discipline and performance generally, and security of kids?
Yes. On discipline, as Bungoma DB school,
Yes.
we have put in place 1, a class teacher sits at the back of the class.
Okay.
So long as the teacher does not have lessons, remains in class, so that assists the teacher teaching with the discipline of the learners.
So there is, they tend to assist each other.
Teach. Yeah, not really co-teach, but just assist. You know, like when you are at the back, the learners will always focus their concentration
on the teaching. Okay.
Yes. On safety measures, the way we arrange the lockers and the desks in our classrooms, we kind of make a group, not the traditional way of arranging from right in front to the back. No, we always group like around 6. CBC, remember, there is a lot of pairing and grouping as you teach. In pairs, do this. In groups, do this. So we have embraced that, and we make a group so that we give what? Space for the learners to move about.
Okay.
Yes. And then on
Performance,
performance we are there. Yes. We do wholesome teaching right from grade 1. How do we do it? We put in place a lot of other teachers. Not only the principal, the deputies should actually go about the learning activities, but we have incorporated other teachers. Like we have senior teachers running right from grade 1 to grade 9. These senior teachers work like the heads of those schools. In fact, in Bungoma DB, we don't call them classes. We call them school 1, school 2, school 3, up to school 9.
Those are schools, yeah.
Yes, so school 1, a senior teacher coordinates all the class teachers of school 1 and make sure that there are no gaps. Learning goes on whether the principal is going round or not.
Okay.
So it's like that up to grade 9. And because of that, academically, we are okay. We are good to go.
Whoa, I think that's why people are fond of Bungoma DB. Mwalimu, let me come to it actually. Is it the drafters or designers of education system in Kenya have one big assumption that every school has running water and every school has electricity? But that's limited to privileged ones. Some, even urban schools, don't have running water and they don't even have electricity. But rural schools actually don't have electricity and running water. How is that affecting learning in this region generally?
Fine. The government has had a policy of ensuring that all schools have electricity, but that has not been achieved to the very 100% level. And with the current approach to education, which is more of computer and ICT, a number of those schools have issues. In fact, we have quite a number of schools that have access to electricity, but did not have the gadgets, did not have the IT material that can then make use of the available electricity. The other challenge associated with electricity at the moment is that the expenses. A school, and I believe particularly the primary schools, do not have the capacity even to pay progressively for the bills.
Okay.
So the bills have been going high and high and high. So that, in a way, impacts, because the current learner is supposed to do a lot of interaction, team teaching, and engagements, and so ICT enhances the contact hours and the connectivity between a teacher, student. So without those facilities,
yes,
it becomes a problem. So ideally, we're saying that in our region here, we are affected to a large extent, that even the electricity that exists is not well utilized because we do not have the enhancers of ICT in our primary schools. At the secondary school level, I think we don't have a major issue, only that we do not have the facilities. Some schools do not have computers and laboratories, so they depend on just one teacher with maybe a desktop, although of course we are also encouraged to make use of phones, which are also good gadgets that can be used for purposes of learning and teaching.
How are we doing at Bungoma DB? The scarcity of water is not a problem because you guys have water, but then internet and power, how are you managing?
The issue of electricity, as the chief principal has said, is actually a tall order, particularly on primary schools. Like Bungoma DB, we have a smart meter. A smart meter is controlled at the headquarters. So any time that you slip off and you don't pay your bills, it is
cut off,
disconnected. And sometimes those bills are so high that whatever the government gives us in terms of electricity and water is not
enough.
It does not meet. Why? Because the school is so large. And because of the population who use electricity so much.
Yes.
So actually it is a tall order, particularly on primary schools, because it's free.
Yes.
Yes, and we depend on the government.
Yes.
Yes. So when it's not enough, then we are disconnected, and we can't use the phones even, the laptops. Like in our school, we were brought the laptops
or iPads.
And whatever.
They're called tablets. Tablets, yes.
But then, how are you going to embrace them when you don't have electricity? So to say, maybe the government, the well-wishers, the NGOs can come up with alternate ways of lighting the schools, such as maybe the solar systems.
Yes.
So you see, if the school was lit using the solar system, and then maybe now those tablets will use the electricity. You see, the bills
will not be so much high.
Not be so much. So if we would come up with alternate sources of light,
yes,
that can light at night and even part of the day, then
to power those gadgets.
Yes, the primary schools would manage. Like in our school, we were brought one Mulika Mwizi. Yes.
That one is generally for it's the flat line for the whole school.
Yes, including the neighboring schools. But when it dies off,
that's it.
That is it. Nobody comes to do a repair on the light, maybe the lamp that would have died. So my urge is, if there were alternate sources of power, then that would actually save our schools.
You see, you have quite a bit of parking.
Yes.
In the school, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't know if any well-wisher who is watching this could be able to borrow from most Masinde Mlilo. They turn the parking into solar harvesting farm.
Yes.
So you use that underground, there are vehicles, but on top of that, instead of putting iron sheets, you're putting the solar panels. Yes. I think that's an idea I've given you, a well-wisher who can be able to support these guys. They need your help.
Yes, because like water, nobody we are managing the issue of water. Why? Because our source now is not powered. It is there are solar panels that actually pump our water.
You have a borehole?
Yes, we have. It was drilled. Yes, and then the tanks were set up, though they are not enough, because that 1 minute hand washing, we need a lot of water.
Yes.
Yes, but at least water.
You are managing.
We are managing.
But then there are other schools that don't have water.
They do not have water. The children get to school without water. Maybe they get water from a seasonal stream, which dries off during the rain season. Maybe they have mounted a tank that they want to harvest from the rain. Yes. Rains are not throughout.
Yes.
Yes.
So whenever there is no rain, there is no water.
There is no water. That one, lack of water in schools, particularly in primary schools, impacts so negatively on learning of children. Why? Because hygiene will not be enhanced. Isn't it?
Wow.
So when hygiene is not enhanced, these children share one bottle, even 10. One was come from home with the flu, the 10
will actually get the privilege.
Yes, then the following day, they're not where? They're not in school.
Yeah. And then you see the population in your school is also worrying, because any strain affecting one will actually affect the whole school. Okay, mini schools within the large school, right?
Yes.
Malipo, this issue, you want to talk about?
I wanted to comment something on water. You know, water is life. Yes. And without water, there is no life. Even at the secondary school level, the schools depend on periodical supplies. You know, these water supplies would ration, give you a bit of this and so.
Yes.
We've got to a point where we have to depend on the little that comes our way. At Kakamega School, I had to do a borehole, which has to some extent elevated the problem of water. But in regard to the issue of electricity, we have gone green completely.
Completely, okay.
We put up a 25 kVA plant.
Whoa.
We run the entire school on solar.
Whoa.
If there's something you can come to learn from Kamega School, that is it.
How much is it?
It costed us 6 million. Wow. And we did a cost analysis because we're paying 500,000 per month for electricity bills.
Yes.
So we looked at that cumulatively, it goes to 6 million. Why not pay upfront? Which we did. And now the bills have come down considerably to between 70,000 to 90. So we only depend on the grid, national grid.
Yes.
During the rainy days when the sunlight is not sufficient. And I would recommend that is the direction schools can take. But schools are suffering. The capitation is inadequate.
Yes.
So even paying for those bills is a problem. And so what sometimes students do, they learn to survive. A student will bathe once in 2 weeks. And you can be sure when in some of those classes in the afternoon, you must be prepared to contend with the atmosphere, which is not very good.
Not very friendly.
Not very friendly.
Whoa, I'm so sorry about that. Before we go to the break, I want you to look at, you see, schools, both primary and high school, they have quite a bit of surfaces, enough to have a sufficient amount of water. Why don't we invest in water storage arrangement instead of doing water boreholes? Because those surfaces capture quite a bit of water during rainy seasons, but it goes to waste. If you came up with an idea to harvest the school water on the surfaces, approximately how much will it cost, and do we need a sponsor to do that, or the funding that the schools get can be able to manage that?
Yes, I'll say this, that that is a very viable approach, because the rooftops are spacious enough.
Yes.
Many schools are trying to harvest water, but it requires some very credible funding to ensure that they buy the tanks and be able to harvest the water.
Yes.
One challenge that faces some of these traditional schools is the asbestos. The asbestos cannot allow water to be collected.
Because they roofed using wrong material.
Wrong material.
Yeah.
And we've been advised to pull down the asbestos.
And replace tiles or iron sheets.
With other very friendly material.
Yes.
But the challenge is this. It is too expensive to expose of the asbestos. It is more expensive because you have to go through a very bureaucratic process, and by the time you get to Mombasa to deposit or you will have spent so much. So schools have shied off. That is the challenge facing a number of schools that used asbestos to roof the laboratories, the dormitories, and they're still there in schools, although the government has been insisting that the asbestos be pulled down. So I want to say this, it is a viable approach, and I think it's a way to go. And it may cost, depending on the population, it may cost 2 million, 3 million, depending on the population, to harvest the water, because the water is there.
Wow. Wow, that's huge. Whoa, we'll be talking about funding and the scarcity of funding in schools and what it will do. That's right after the break. I was talking to you about JFC Mnene College of Health Sciences. It's a college based out in Thika. January intake is underway, and they also. So I would like to encourage you to take note that you can call 0700 114 0705 114 or 0703 114 Someone is right now waiting for that call so that he can give you guidance through the process. Thank you so much. In just a bit, we'll be coming back to continue with our conversation. And as usual, this show is live on YouTube. Wherever you're on our social media, please leave a comment and share and subscribe. We are also on Facebook, Westv, and on our YouTube is, our X is Westv Kenya, or Westv_Kenya. You can also follow me on X at Mr. Kitui. Just in a bit, we'll be coming back.
The Morning Scoop is sponsored by JFC Munene College of Health Sciences.
Westv, tazama ilivyo. Welcome to JFC Munene Colleges, where education meets innovation. Our mission is to provide our students with a world-class education that prepares them for the future. We offer theater technology, orthopedic technology, mortuary science, science lab technology, counseling psychology. At the College of Business Technology, we offer hospitality, business and accountancy, fashion and design. We are not just preparing our students for the future, we are shaping it. Come join us at JFC Munene College of Health Sciences, where the possibilities are endless.
Wakati wanatenga fedha, wakumbuke hawa mama mashinani.
Wanasema mwanamke ni nguzo ya jamii, na hapa kwenye Westv Staftahi
tumejifunza maneno mengi ambayo tulikuwa tujui.
Kila siku ya Jumatano tunaangazia hatua wanazopiga wanawake hawa.
Na naweka gunia kwa mlango, alafu napanda mboga.
We will not go into harambes again.
Zungumzia uongozi, malezi, kilimo na hata afya.
Siwezi kuavote shilingi 350. Nataka tuchue. Kama ni mbaya, mkuambie tukae nyumbani ama tufanye nini?
Hawana hata maji. Akitafuta mtu amletee maji kwa mtoni, mtu anamuitisha 50 bob.
Ni hapa kwenye Westv Staftahi kila siku ya Jumatano.
Wengi walikuwa washakuwa psychologically prepared according to how they voted.
Kuanzia saa 2 hadi saa 3 kiwa nami Ruth Songa.
Oh my goodness, I have a gallery there, works of art. I've done so much for this country.
Within the next 50, 40 years, 100 years, we shall have a banyole, no babarugia.
No kole kazi, no tiya nende tsingufu. Nyasa leta kumeta ebindu bindi bino byose.
Kunaleta abana befwe abesekana nabasyani okudekya okubana bima bilayi nende nebadekya banadekya bahana babamanyire okudlasi paka akude.
Nebusamye niyo bakangala ni kusika balingange kuba batulire becha
makabusareti neche namukulira beti amukulira namwako chisendi
nasomya babana almost free. From here I have a professor in Spain. Baliyo baba kanajewe ni yomu yaye kimyandu kyenyi
Ulimesina bulia no mujamutira sabuli memwaka na bamayali ngo amuonera byakhulya
Kone babana masone kumukundata kukonda no kana kana abana bano khasome bari
chingana kaniche
unamala wakana kana luka rini your brain is broken.
Najua kwamba mtazamaji ungependa kusikia kuhusu usemi wa viongozi wa kidini katika masuala ya taifa.
It is our prayer and confidence that truth will prevail.
Maombi ya kila mwana Kenya.
As we pray with them and listen with them,
our constitution and our laws.
Ndio maana kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 2 asubuhi hadi saa 3 asubuhi.
Wasipokuwa na walimu vizuri, matokeo ya mtihani pia itakuwa shida.
LGBTQ tunakataa.
After the general elections, weza kurekebisha kasoro katika eneo la kisiasa. Elections are over.
Shukrani zetu lazima zitoke ndani ya mioyo yetu.
Unajumuika nami Winnie Wanyonyi ili tuweze kuangazia masuala ya usemi wa viongozi wa kidini katika masuala ya taifa.
Westv, tazama ilivyo.
The Morning Scoop is sponsored by JFC Munene College of Health Sciences.
This is the Morning Scoop. This is the first Tuesday of 2025. We're going to have a lot more of these Tuesdays coming throughout the year. As we continue, Dr. we went to a break when I was trying to look at insufficient funding. And insufficient funding is a reason why these challenges we're discussing are in place in the first place. That insufficient funding also comes with as in it tends to jeopardize chances of these learners excelling, right? It interferes negatively. So what are schools going to do, especially the high school arrangement?
Fine. I want to start by commending the government for making efforts to send capitation to schools. And it has helped us in a great way to maintain the infrastructure, to pay the non-teaching staff. But in the recent past, in the last 2 years, there has been a shortfall in funding. In 2023, I think we received just about slightly above 50%. Last year, it went beyond 70%. Although this year, I think the government has promised to get back to
it's normal.
It's normal, and we believe in it. We want to thank the government for that.
I saw the statement recently, 50% of capitation being released.
So we're looking forward to full funding. But in the absence of sufficient funding, schools have struggled. What many schools did, they suspended some of the core activities in schools. Like schools could not fund the purchase of equipment for the laboratories, and instead they opted for the virtual exhibitions. Schools could not sufficiently even pay the non-teaching staff, and so what the schools did, they have gone without payment. In fact, many of the schools are now experiencing a high debt.
Well, we'll come to debts, but those debts that we usually focus on are usually to the suppliers. But then there are teachers, there are workers who work to support the institutions. What language do you use to tell them that let's continue expecting?
It's been quite difficult, and we keep shifting, to be honest. We keep promising that let's keep waiting, something will come. So what we've been doing is to pay a percentage of the same to sustain them, because these guys have families.
Yes.
They need to take their kids to school. The language has been to give them hope that things will change, and many of the schools have been looking forward to a January like this, with the 4 months are coming in so that they clear. I don't know how we will work it out.
Yes.
But that is
we don't have for months. The
miracle worker is not coming. So we have to apply other ways, and that will depend on individual schools. But what many schools have done, they've cut down on the number of workers. They have merged departments, and they're now going into employing one person who can do 1, 2, 3, 4 things.
That leaves large population not employment.
Yes. And quite a number of also have been faced off because schools cannot sustain. On matters of academics, like I said, we had to employ other ways of making sure that the experiments are undertaken. But we went slow on purchases of a few other items like revision of material and things like that, which to some extent is bound and may have affected the students' performance in a way.
Madam, what is happening in terms of sanitation? Because now your school is 6,000 plus, and it must be a nightmare when it comes to sanitation. Talk to us about what's happening in Bungoma DP.
Well, in Bungoma DP matters sanitation is that actually the physical toilets, they are not enough. Really not enough. But what have we embraced? That we have a lot of water running in the school. We use what we have. How do we use what we have? One, because our washrooms are very few, we clean them after a break, so that they're clean for the 6,000. And also, we also use a lot of disinfectant, so that our learners are not infected by anything. Then because we also have lots of water, we have placed every 500 meters a water point for the learners to
take advantage of.
Take advantage of that. But moving forward, our school actually, what we are looking forward is to put up more washrooms, and the modern ones, not the pits, because we don't even have
space for
anyone else to sink.
Yes.
So we want to put up modern toilets and then connect them to the sewer line.
That will be easy in terms of managing.
Yes, yes, rather than having the pits. So that is what we want to focus on in the year 2025 and any other time that anybody would like to fund the school or any monies that the school might have, maybe not in use, then we are going to go that way, but not more pit latrines.
I can't let you go without talking about a shortage of teachers.
Yes,
you said teachers are co-teaching. Yes. They are assisting each other to manage the disciplines in class. 6,000 students, you have nine grades. Each grade has like how many students?
From low primary, we have 13.
Wow.
Yes, that is 4, 4, 4, 5. And then the primary section now, we have 6, 6, 7. That is around 19. Then the junior now, we have 9 streams times 3.
That's how many schools?
Yeah, quite many schools in one.
Yes, so teacher...
You see, you talked about a teacher handling 70 to 90, right? That's quite a bit of population. It means if you had more teachers, streams will have fewer students, right? And this is CBC. CBC is not the one like our times when we had only one teacher who could teach the whole school. Do you want to have a message to the government in terms of the numbers, increasing the numbers, and what should be the criteria? Because some schools don't have larger populations, but then some schools have relatively high populations. What do you like the government to do in terms of increasing the number of teachers?
Well, how I wish that the government actually looked at all schools as schools which have children, so that a town school should not have maybe relatively a good ratio, and then the schools in the village, particularly distance from maybe a market center where one can preside, have very few teachers. What am I saying? If employment can be based on, we have people in a certain village, trained teachers, isn't it? If they employed those people will just teach in those schools around them. Yes.
Without going into an expense of accommodation, unnecessary expenses that will accompany a new employee. You avoid that.
Yes. In fact, why those schools far away from maybe the road, what you have few teachers?
Yes.
It's because of accommodation actually. So most teachers will shy from going to teach in that school. Because maybe it's a long distance away.
To where they can be able to stay.
Yes, particularly for primary schools. I don't know about high schools. Yes. So if people from around that place, and we also want to encourage our society, let them take their children to school. Let children train as teachers, so that they come back and they
teach the others.
Teach their children. But if you in the society, you people from that community, you are not doing anything to educate your own children, then you want somebody else to come and suffer. Yes, you'll always have a problem.
So the solution is actually not to the government, but to us. We need to let our own children in our localities to learn teaching so that they can teach others.
Yes. And let us make the teaching profession sweet so that it's admirable. You know, when children look at you as a teacher who is suffering, they will not go for teaching. You might have so many who have gone to school, so many who want to go to college, but none of them would want to be
a teacher because of what they see other teachers.
So let us make our teaching profession a profession and a sweet one. Just like so many of them admire to be doctors, lawyers, and why do they It's because of the monetary value.
Yes.
So if our teaching profession can be made sweet, then I'm very sure no school will lack a teacher. Bungoma DB, so to speak, I don't want to deny that we have enough. We do not have enough. Why don't we have enough? Because of the number of what? There are very many classrooms, very many learners with very few teachers.
This, Malimo, you see, high schools are very comfortable at the moment, but it's only this year, because next year, these crowds are actually coming. But then, there's this demon that makes kids keep on dropping from school. Each location has its own challenges. Yeah. Generally speaking, how are schools managing to avoid large dropout among students?
I think I would say this, my brother Kitui, that when schools make the learning environment friendly, then it enhances the chances of retaining students in school. And so that would be one. But number two, schools are also trying to enhance the guidance and counseling services. Because a number of the students who are dropping out have issues of character issues. Some of them have been taken out of their own thinking by social media.
Yes.
And they want to go out there and watch a movie and come in, which cannot be entertained in some schools. So when they are subjected to some level of punishment, they decide to drop out.
Yes.
And so enhancing the guidance and counseling services in schools is something we need to consider. But more importantly, parents have abdicated their responsibility. Like during Christmas, during the holidays, they were wondering when will schools do it?
Open. Because party is all through.
All through. And so, if every parent took a keen look and a keen responsibility to take care of the character of the children and make them love to learn and go back to school and learn the value of education, the dropout rate will be very minimal. And so we are challenging the parents not to abdicate their responsibility. And that is why in some of those American countries, I think this what they're calling now homeschooling.
Yes.
So that now you're in charge of the character of your son, and because we see a big disconnect. When a student misbehaves and the parents come, they say, no, this is not my student. And these days we have become clever. We call the learners and the students to come and give a testimony of what they have done. And many parents really wonder whether they are the
same ones who came from home.
From home or different.
Sunday school teachers
so
to do
partnering schools and parents and just ensuring that the moral values are up to date will enable us to retain. And the very last thing I want to say is that with the new technology, learning must be interesting. So students must go digital.
Yes.
To capture the mind of these fellows and retain them in school, they must be able to still use the same ICT platform to enhance learning. And when we make it very interesting and very captivating, the dropout rate would reduce.
Private schools, young girls are victims of pregnancies, and some of them are actually mothers and fathers, and they're still in school. The news was telling us that the kid who gave birth, 12-year-old kid who gave birth on the 1st of January, the father is 17-year-old. So these are children who are doing parties during holidays. So those pregnancies and early marriages, you see, we no longer have issues to do with early marriages, but then pregnancies, teen pregnancies, are very high. I don't know what's happening with Bungoma DP and what is the issue in private schools and what is the management doing to help that?
I want to say this, that age 4 and age 24, that group, either they are in EYE, they are in the primary schools, they are in high schools, and they are
in colleges.
And they are still with us, parents. I want to say this, that as schools, we put measures, right? The guiding and counseling, during the PPI lessons, we guide them. We call in the motivational speakers, they speak to them. We have school chaplains, they speak to the children and all that. But I want to throw the ball back to the parents, that our parents actually bribe their children in terms of coercing them to do this or that. One, in some of our homes where parents are able to purchase phones, you'll find all of them have what? Phones. Then, these parents want to keep their children in their homes, particularly school holidays or even weekends for primary schools like us. They want to keep them in their homes. They buy for them bundles, but they don't supervise. They don't know what their children...
They don't monitor whether they are streaming.
Yes. So children go to pornography. They watch. Then children are what? Children. They put it in practice. That is why you find the 12 years, 17 years, and some of them even a brother and a sister. A brother and a cousin. Parents have not taught these children values. They don't have the time. What are we asking our parents? Let them come up with alternate ways of keeping their children or making their children stay at home or do something more valuable. There are very many other alternate ways. It's not a must that your child should watch a movie, should watch a horror movie, should play a game on the phone. There are alternate ways. We have the world readers, books, that if a parent who is able, you can buy bundles, you download a storybook so that your child reads. And you think this is competitive. The more you read, you will be awarded. You get my point?
Yes.
So, you see, at least that one will make your child do what? You know.
But there's a downside to that, because these storybooks you're talking about are not local. They are set in those jurisdictions which these movies are also set from. So Mwalimu talked about using these platforms to support the development of these children and teaching them. But then it also, I think, it also comes back to us. The responsibility is to us. You as a teacher, you need to create content that will be a learning resource that will go on this platform. What do you think, Mali? Yeah, okay, you let her finish, then we...
I was coming there.
Yes.
Alternate ways of entertainment. One, like Bungoma DB, we enhance a lot of library reading. Even if you came to Bungoma DB at lunchtime.
Yes.
Because of our population, we've reduced on time for lunch. What do you find the learners doing? They're seated under any shade reading a storybook. This storybook is monitored. You just don't say read.
You give them something that is relevant.
Relevant per that school. School 4 will be reading these storybooks. Every child on reporting, like they're reporting today, when we closed, we gave them what? Books to purchase. But at the same time, the school has what? Books. Storybooks.
Yes.
So we have this parent maybe who will not be able. We also give a backup. Maybe the child has read 5 of those ones rotating in class.
Yes.
So we have a backup from that school. You get us?
Yes.
When we close schools, the teachers of language, they give that as a homework. How many storybooks will you read during the holiday? You write the title, you write the characters, the major and the minor, you know, something guiding you. So when you come, we are able to assess whether you did or
you did not?
Not.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Malim, let's just close here. But you see, content creation. This one, we have content creators who the government has given, we're open with the space. We can go on the internet and create enough content. We can talk about everything, right? But content creators are focusing on quick fixes. They want to create content that is right for them to generate traffic to get income. Yeah, many TikTokers or Facebookers or Xers are not there to display content that will deliver values. Instead, it's entertainment, cheap entertainment. What do you want to tell them? And what should be the role of you as educators?
I think this is a challenge, my brother, that we must intentionally and deliberately start creating relevant and useful content. And I want to challenge my colleagues, the teachers, that we cannot leave this to chance or to anybody who is interested in making money. As goes beyond the money, we are looking at the relevance and content that can be able to impact. So we must start enhancing content through creative content making at the school level, at the individual level, at the subject level, because this will go on a long way to help. Because if we don't do that, then we will have left them to adopt any other that there is. And so that's a challenge to the teachers. But also I want to also suggest that as we do that, we must also develop controls. Controls that, yes, I can leave my laptop with my daughter, but still be able to control and make sure that this girl cannot access some of the sites. And that therefore means I must be ICT competent. I must go out there and learn, because if you don't, then they'll beat you at your own game. So this level of ignorance and the level of avoidance or imagining that site is not very good is not helping us. We just must be deliberate. We go out, get to learn, create content, and avail it so that it becomes an alternative approach, as my sisters suggested.
Okay. You have a minute? You can add on what he has just said?
Yes. I would also want to add that if, like the boy child, they have alternate things to do. I see they have come up with very many, like football teams and what have you. What about the girl child? I'm not seeing anything in the society that can actually
support
the girl child. How I wish that the library programs that used to be there in the yesteryears. We have a library, children can go there, they read the books. We even have these other libraries where that just move about. You borrow a book, you read, and then you drop it back. If that was done, I think our children will be more engaged in more valuable activities than just leaving them to anything that they can come across.
Thank you so much for taking your time to talk to Westv this morning as we look at back to school. Dear viewer, there is no bigger resource than Westv Live. That's a YouTube channel. It's available. You can take advantage of it. We have enough resources, enough values. Just go there. Send your kids there. Let your kids interact with those that kind of platform. I can assure you our platform is well endowed with valuable resources that can be able to support your children without them going into those funny content that is online. I want to tell you that JFC Munene College of Health Sciences is a college that is designed to deliver specific values for your students or for your children. They offer attachments, arrangements. They have gone into working relationships with the public institutions and private institutions whereby their learners are absorbed into those systems for attachments. They have a placement arrangement with the county governments and public institutions where they go and intern, and then they also support these kids to get employment even outside the country. That's why on admission, one of the requirements you are as a parent, you are encouraged to do is make a passport available for this kid, because tomorrow this kid will be taken outside the country, so it should be not very hard for them to get absorbed outside there. To get this and more information, visit the website www.jfcollege.ac.ke. You can also place a call to 0700-114-115, 0705-114-115, 0703-114-115. As we speak, someone is waiting for that call. Someone is available to talk to you and respond to you so that he can be able to support you. I don't have much ado. I just want to end here. We've eaten my director's time. Too many minutes have passed over 10 o'clock. I just want us to end here so that we look forward for next week on Tuesday. But before we go, last word, 1 minute. What do we like to say about back to school, the challenges we have, and what we need to do? 1 minute.
I want to let the viewers know that the schools are ready. We are ready to welcome. Despite the challenges, we put in measures to ensure that when the students come back to school, they'll get the quality that they desire, and we're willing to partner. And please don't shy away from engaging us to help your child be able to realize their dream in life.
Madam, 1 minute.
Thank you so much. As teachers, we are ready to go. We are ready for your children. We would like to partner, the three of us, the teachers, the parents, and the learners, so that we add value into your children. Bring your children, schools are on. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't want to add anything. I just want to say thank you for taking your time. On behalf of my director, Kevin Kibet, this is CKS.
The Morning Scoop is sponsored by JFC Munene College